I was waiting for Laura to join. Laura, all right. Thank you everybody for joining us. My name is Santi Karasami. I'm sure people will be filing in. That's fine. I like that it's a smaller group. I can take individual questions. So I have some information on the slide right here in regard to your CTLE instructions and attendance. Feel free to take a screenshot. I am recording this. I'm going to email the recording as well as all the notes, everything that we go over today. I'm going to email it all to you. I'm collecting the attendance. And I will put the slide up again, but I believe you need this information for the CTLE hours and your attendance. So feel free to take a screenshot of this, and I'm happy to put it back on this slide deck if anybody needs it. Okay, so I'm gonna take a screenshot if you need it. I'm gonna advance to the next slide. Okay, Google AI for Educators. Thank you everybody for joining us this afternoon. It's lunchtime. If you're having lunch, I understand. Feel free to keep your camera off. I would love for people to interact with the chat. Try not to get any ketchup on the keyboard. We're all here doing this together. All right. So who are we? Right now, it's going to be only me presenting. My name is Santi Karasami. I'm the founder of Project Recess. I'll speak a little bit more about that. But we worked on this together, this presentation. And when I say we, I'm referring to Danita Morgan. She's the K-12 head of education for the Mid-Atlantic region. Huge role. Danita's been a strong advocate for New York City public schools for a very long time. So we've been leading a lot of professional learning on Google tools, particularly AI. But today it'll be myself presenting. So as I mentioned, 13 years ago, I started a company called Project Recess. Our mission was simple. We want to support New York City public schools, use EdTech tools to support teaching and learning. This was all the way back when this thing called Google Docs first came out. I don't know if anybody's heard of that. And look where we are now. We're doing a lot of professional learning around many things. Thanks, Laura. Feel free to throw the emojis in there. So like lately, we've been working a lot on AI because AI is affecting everything. That's why you're here now. And hopefully we can share a lot of what we're doing already, as well as, learn new things using these tools that are out. So as a warm up, again, I'm hoping people are able to share with us some information in the chat. If you're able to, I would love to hear from people, name a work task that takes up way too much of your time. So think about the past year, think about the past couple years. What do you feel like took up a lot of your time? Oops, hold on to me. I lost the screen. Let me bring it up one more time. And there it is. So think about it. Please put it in the chat. Chat should be available. What takes up way too much of your time? A lot of people might say email, etc. But think about it. Please share. Would love to hear. And perhaps we could think about how we can address those things using these tools. So name a work task that takes up way too much of your time. I'll kick it off. Yeah, I spend a lot of time checking emails, making sure that they sound professional, have the right tone, all these things. Are you referring to two-step verification, Laura? Entering confirmation codes, number sequences. Okay, perhaps. I like that. Maybe there's a way to build an automation of that. Thank you for sharing that, Laura. So think about it. Maybe it's email, maybe it's something else, but there are a lot of tasks that we encounter that takes up way too much of our time. Emails, feedback we've heard in the past. Just the other day, I was thinking about my Google Drive. It's a mess. There's got to be a quicker way just to organize it. Organizing digital documents. Yes, yes, yes. What I was just talking about right now. Charles, thanks so much. If anybody would like to share, feel free. Moving on to the next question. So I know this is a fairly new tool, Gemini. I know it was recently enabled for every staff member in New York City, but how familiar is everyone here with Gemini? 1, being not really familiar at all. 5, you're a power user. So feel free to put it in the chat again. How familiar are you with using this tool called Gemini? Charles, thanks so much. One, good. That's great. We're in this together. All right, Laura. Okay. Power user Laura over here with a 4. Okay, thank you, Melania. Thank you. 1. This is perfect. This is great. If you're not that familiar with it, it's we'll go over the basics and we'll show some advanced features too. Vanita, thank you so much. 4. Okay, so it's like we have two ends of the spectrum here. Folks that are familiar, folks that are power users here. All right, so let's continue. I will be sharing, so there's going to be a lot of resources we're going to share with everybody here. I have the attendance, everyone who joins this meet, I have a recording of that, as well as the official DIIT attendance. So whoever's here today, we're going to share not only the recording, but this digital Google workshop notebook we'll share with everybody today. And it has quick links to all the things that I'm going over. Maybe I'll just throw that in the chat just so like we have that. Hold on one second. Let me make sure I have that document. So again, I'm going to be sharing this with everybody, but I'll also put it in the chat. So here's our digital notebook of resources. Says if anybody's interested. Okay, let me make sure that link works. Yes. Okay, wonderful. All right, so again, we're going to be sharing all these things. So an overview of Google AI tools in education. Danita does a fantastic job talking about, sort of the ins and outs and what makes Gemini unique. I'll just go over this briefly and talk about like the most important things in my opinion. Before we get into that, let's do a little quiz. So at the bottom here, I have different industries: airplanes, airlines, the internet, Facebook, generative AI. This is a thing that we like to do just to get us familiar with how quickly these tools are moving in terms of like how many people are using them. So if we think about airplanes, all right, all the way back from the Wright brothers to now to Spirit Airlines, okay, how long do you all think, in terms of years, how many years did it take for 50 million people to start taking planes? Think about it. There's no wrong or right answer. We're all just guessing here. Trivia. I guess there's a wrong answer. But feel free to put it in the chat here. How many years do you think it took for 50 million users to start using airplanes? So think about it. When I first heard this question, I don't know, I was thinking like 20 years or something like that. So if anybody's willing to take a guess, feel free to put it in there. I'm guessing 20 years. Let's see what it is. Okay, here we go. 40 years. Thank you, Vanita. 65 years, 10 years. Okay, okay. Let's see what it is. Vanita, I hope you didn't Google that. 30 years, Melania. I'm surprised. 68 years. It took 68 years. You just know your trivia. Just know your trivia. Yes, go Vanita. We'll get you a Spirit Airlines voucher. All right, so 68 years for airplanes. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, the internet. How long do we think it took 50 million users to start using the internet? All right, this one I didn't know. If I had to guess, probably yeah, maybe. Are you laughing for the Spirit Airlines? Yeah, you get a free. You get to bring your shoes on for free for Spirit Airlines. All right, so internet, how long does it take? 50 million users. I'm gonna guess, I don't know, 30 years, 15. Anyone else? The internet. All right, we're gonna check it out. All right, 7 years. Melania, thank you. 20 years, 7 years for 50 million users to use the internet. As we can see, adoption is growing with these things. Also, it's easier to jump on AOL versus get on a metal tube that's flying through the air. All right, so let's keep that in mind too. Facebook, how long did it take? Who had the original Facebook account back in 2009 or whatever it came out, when it was called the Facebook? I know I did. All right, 50 million users, Facebook. How long do we think? All right, here it is. Let's guess Facebook. I'm gonna guess, I don't know, 15 years? No, probably less. Your student invented Facebook. I hope you're getting residuals on that one, Laura. 10 years, 3 years, Facebook. That's interesting. 3 years, 50 million users. That's incredible. Here's a big one. Generative AI. All right. Things such as ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, things like that. How long did it take? 50 million users. All right. So we're seeing this trend here. Adoption's quick. 4 months. Laura, that's a good guess. 1 year. Melania, thank you for guessing that. Okay. Let's check it out. Gen AI, 50 million users, 5 weeks.
Ooh.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Yes. It's crazy. That's incredible, right? Like, look at all, like, let's take a step back. Let's look at all these things. And like, yes, generative AI is fairly new to all the things that we're using. I think ChatGPT is like 2 years old, I believe, and things go viral easier. So like, yeah, there's a lot of things to keep in mind, but man, 50 million users in 5 weeks. Whenever I see that, I always think that's incredible. And part of the reason why I think so many people use this is because the application of Gen AI, it's 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 so evident to see. It doesn't matter if you're in education, it doesn't matter if you're in business, finance, home improvement, running a restaurant, running a bike shop. It doesn't matter, personal use. It doesn't matter what your interest is. These Gen AI tools can really help you with your work. All right. So that's why me personally, I'm interested in Gen AI tools. I think that's why many people here are interested in that. So for this session today, we're going to explore the different AI tools that we have available to us. What are we using? How are we using it now? And what can we start? What can we do with them? All right. So let's continue. So again, Danita usually leads this part of the session. I'm just going to briefly go through it. But, when we think about generative AI tools, like, yes, the main thing that comes up for most people, ChatGPT, obviously. And then you have some other things. Why I personally recommend Gemini particularly for New York City public school teachers, mainly it's the data and privacy. So if you're not familiar with the ERMA approval process, right? ERMA, if you're not familiar with it, that's fine. The main thing you want to know about it is that it's this very rigorous process that software companies need to go through in order for DOE employees and students to start using software. All right, as we all know, as a DOE employee, you can't just start using some software. You want to make sure that it's safe, that the data that you're putting into it is secured, right? We want to protect your data. We want to protect our students' data. And so when you're using something like ChatGPT that has not completed the IRMA approval process, or any of these other AI tools, when you put like a question into ChatGPT or any information, that information is being stored by these companies, and so there's potential for data, like violations with data there. And at this point, I think all of these tools work more similarly than they do different, right? Like ChatGPT versus Gemini versus whatever. And so we recommend that you use the safest tool. So right now, Gemini is IRMA approved. Microsoft Copilot is also. And so if you're going to use an AI tool, we lean toward those. Obviously, this session today focused on Gemini. Okay. So again, I'm not going to go through all these slides in depth. I just want to emphasize that Google has really taken a safety approach when it comes to these tools. All right. As well as like learning principles, all these wonderful things. So in the end, maybe we can imagine a world where there's a TA, a teacher assistant for every educator, a tutor for every learner, an assistant for every education leader, because these tools can really help you 24/7. It doesn't matter what your questions are. All right. So that being said, I want to know how people are using these tools now. Again, like, nobody's an expert in Gen AI. We're all learning this. This is a smaller group today. If you want to unmute, if you want to, share with us, via the microphone, feel free, or please put it in the chat. But I would love to know, how are folks here in our session? How are you currently using or thinking about using Gen AI tools in the classroom or your personal life? All right. So take a second to think about it. Again, if you want to unmute, that's fine. Please put in the chat also, how are you using these tools now? And it doesn't matter if it's in the classroom or in your personal life. How are you using Gen AI tools now? And maybe you're not. I would love to know if you're not using these tools now. Feel free to put that in there. Perhaps why you're not using it. So as you're thinking about that, when when ChatGPT first came out, again, I think it was like 2 years ago, I immediately saw the promise of it in education in terms of, not only saving teachers time, but like how these tools can really help your resources be better and more engaging. So I started using it for, helping me with my emails, helping me draft agendas, modifying the time and everything. So feel free to put in the chat, how are you using Gen AI tools now? And if you're not, that's okay. Think about it. All right. Laura, thank you so much. Create a presentation. Um, are you willing to say more? What kind of presentation was it? And okay. Oh, nice. Vanita,
Okay.
thank you. Oh yeah, please, Laura, please share.
Sure. I can tell you all about it actually. So I, full disclosure, have already been to one of these workshops, and what I learned at the workshop that Santi presented with Danita on is that you could actually use a research. I know you'll get into this later, I'm sure. There's a research feature that allowed me to take research that I had done and just put it together for me, and it was absolutely brilliant. And I just took from there, and then I tweaked it. I didn't use exactly what was in there, because it didn't completely address what I needed to, present about, but it was really extremely helpful, especially the formatting.
So you took this research already and you put it into what, like NotebookLM or something, and then it modified it for you?
I know I used the Gemini.
Okay, gotcha.
We have, yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Vanita, thank you for sharing. You'll get 2 Spirit Airlines vouchers for sharing in the chat. Using Gen AI with your interns to design within Adobe. And that, thank you for sharing that. There's some, we're seeing AI features being included in pretty much every piece of software now, right? So like Adobe has a lot of Gen AI tools, and that's, mainly for design things. Generating, okay, I'm so glad you brought that up. I love generating meeting notes using AI. So like right now, I have Gemini built into Google Meet. So everything that we're saying, Gemini is like taking it, and then it's going to give me notes at the end, a transcription, and I'm going to share that with everybody also. Yeah, my memory is not great, and so that's one of my favorite uses of using Gen AI tools to help me organize my notes during like a virtual meeting. So thank you for sharing that in the chat. All right. Okay, so this is wonderful. I love that, people are using these things in your work environment, in your personal life, etc. So again, Gemini. All right, like that's what we're focusing on now. And once again, Gemini is available for every staff member in New York City Public Schools. Like that's huge. That took, I had a lot of conversations with Danita during the beginning of this process, and it took a long time, understandably, because like this is a very powerful tool. And again, we want to make sure that the data that's being put in there is safe. So again, all this to say, any, information that you would feel comfortable putting in your Outlook email, in your DOE Google Drive, you can feel that same sense of security and confidence that you can put that same type of information in Gemini, okay, because it went through this process. That can't be said with most other AI tools, okay? All right, so when we say Gemini, for the most part, we're talking about the Gemini app. The only people I know that refer to it as a Gemini app are Googlers. But like, yeah, we say Gemini. And how do we get there? You just open up a new tab, make sure that you're signed in to your @schools account, and you're going to gemini.google.com. So if you've never used this before, I encourage you to, do this along with us. Open up a new tab. Again, make sure that you're signed into your @schools account. All right. Maybe I'll demonstrate right here. You're not gonna, okay. Let me, once you go to gemini.google.com, you should see this type of screen. So here, I'll demonstrate. You're not gonna see my address bar because I'm just sharing the tab, but okay, so here I am in a new tab. Again, you would go to gemini.google.com. I'm fully aware that that's not the URL bar, the address bar, but open up a new tab, gemini.google.com. When you hit enter, you're taken to this screen. Okay, so this is Gemini right over here. It looks very similarly to other AI tools such as ChatGPT, etc. Okay. So what I want you to do, and like I used to do this like when these tools first came out, and I think they're better now. Again, if you've not used this tool before, I want you to ask it a question. Okay, so let's go to Gemini, and I want you to ask it a question that you know a lot about. So let's say we're at trivia night, at your favorite establishment, and then the topic is something that you just happen to know a lot about, whether it's sports, countries, Simpsons episodes between 1990 and 1994. I want you to ask it a question that you know a lot about, and let's see what it gives you. All right, what do I know a lot about? Yes, I know a lot about. Also, if you, I know, like I put you on the spot by asking like what your trivia question is. You could also ask us about yourself. That's something I really think is intriguing when you ask an AI tool about yourself, because then you see how it researches the internet and how it, like, first of all, like what information about you is out there. So if you actually, we can try that too. So let's try that. Open up a new tab. Make sure you're signed into your DOE account. You're at Gemini. Ask it about yourself. All right. So I'm going to try this. Please, give me detailed information about myself, Santi Harasami. All right. Did not spell my last name correctly. Happens to me too. All right. I'm going to hit this, hit enter. Please try that on your own, and then we'll see. You might, if you have a common name, you might need to give it a little bit more context. So if you have a common name, maybe ask, your name from this town, what have you. All right. This is pretty accurate about myself. And keep this in mind. When you do this, when you ask an AI tool about yourself, some will do this, some will not. In Gemini, what I appreciate about this, there are links to resource, or like to the citations and where it got this information. Okay. So right here, I'm a creative technologist, founder of Project Recess, all true. And if I click on this or even hover my mouse over that link icon, it tells me where it got it. So if I click on that, it got it from, what is this? The Beyond Access forum, probably a bio that I submitted. So that's true. All right. So that's nice. It has the citations and like the references of where it got this information. Okay. Man, all of this looks retired DJ. True. Yes. Yeah. All of this seems true. Man, this got really good. I remember asking ChatGPT the same question 2 years ago, and it made up the college that I went to. It got where I grew up wrong. All of this, man, all of this is 100% true. Scary how true that is. But if anybody did that, if anybody asked about themselves in Gemini, how did it work? Okay, Laura, what was accurate, what was not? Please let me know.
Sure. Actually, this is very easy. So anything that I added to my bio in ISTE showed up, and that was correct because I added it myself.
Okay.
But it also said that I won 2 awards that I never won, and I'm fine with having that there, but it's not true.
What awards were they?
It said I won a New York City Schools Tech Award and a Brooklyn High School Superintendent Champion Award for digital innovation.
Did it give you the references of where it got that info? That little link icon?
It did. It said tech and learning.
Oh, so maybe like read it wrong?
Yeah, I think it read it wrong. Yeah, I think it probably picked up someone else's bio and put it in mine.
I'm glad you brought that up, Laura. Thank you for sharing that. So there's a word that comes up a lot when we're talking about generative AI tools, and that word is hallucination. So in the context of these things, a hallucination is when an AI tool gives you something that's not correct. So in this case, the AI tool hallucinated, and it said that Laura won these awards that she did not. And again, I'm glad you shared that with us, because these tools, although they're incredible, although they can be very accurate, as we saw with my own bio there, they can make mistakes. So I just want to present like both sides of this. Like, these tools can be incredibly powerful and accurate, and do all the great things, save you time, etc. At the same time, these tools, and it doesn't matter if it's ChatGPT or something else, these tools can also hallucinate and give you information that's not correct. So, and I want to emphasize this as much as possible. When you get your response from these tools, at this point, from Gemini, you want to make sure that you're reading through it and making sure that it's accurate, especially if you're using any of this content with your students. If you're going to share it out with someone, make sure that it's all accurate. Okay. So that being said, okay. Oh, Lord, it also pulled other people with my name, but not in my bio. Interesting. Okay. So yes, context. You want to give it as much context as possible. All right. Moving forward, when you go to Gemini, you see a few things that you can modify. Excuse me. So at the top left, you can choose your AI model. And so you have, by default, it's 2.5 Flash. All this to say, you'll probably be using 2.5 Flash the most because it's the quickest and it still has a lot of information. If you wanted to work on, I guess, like more advanced, like reasoning word problems or math or like code, like these things can code, you have the option of choosing 2.5 Pro. I think there are some limitations with how many times you can interact with 2.5 Pro. And you have less limitations with Flash. So it's really up to you and like what work you're doing. But again, if this is all getting confusing, stick with 2.5 Flash. That's going to help you with most of your things. And then over here, at the bottom here, it says, you can enter a prompt. That's where you can like add, your question, but it might say tools on your end. And then there's something that says deep research, Canvas. You can even search images. This is like the newer, like user interface. You might not see the tools button, and that's fine. Maybe yours just says like deep research and Canvas and images. Like it says it down here. And that's fine. That's just a different like user experience. I think they're all going to be updated where you will see where it says tools, but if it just says deep research, etc., that's fine. Stacy, that's a really great question. Stacy put in the chat, can students use this in the DOE as well? At the moment, I don't think so. So at the moment, and again, these things are being updated, guidance and, these rules and restrictions, can change. But at this moment right now, only adults, only teachers and staff have access to Gemini. So if students wanted to use something like this, there are other tools out there, but at this moment, only adult staff members have access to this. Okay. So let me go back to Gemini right over here. So again, I'm just going to copy this prompt, and I use 2.5 Flash for this. If you wanted to, again, like you could choose 2.5 Pro. Let's see what the differences are. And so like this gave me, using Flash, it gave me a pretty nice, bulleted overview. If I choose Pro and I put the same thing in there, give me information about myself. Let's see what happens. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. It has this thing called show thinking. It's a drop-down menu. If you click on that, that's interesting. It gives you an idea of what it's searching. Okay. And look, instead of bulleted points, it gave me a much more detailed exploration into my bio. So if you wanted to try that, if you wanted to go ahead and ask Gemini the same question, ask it about yourself, but then choose that drop down at the top left, choose 2.5 Pro, and see if it's more accurate, and if it gives you more information. So this is interesting. Yeah, just more. It seems like the same format, but it really expanded on what was bulleted in that list before. All right, so feel free to test that out. 2.5 Pro versus 2.5 Flash. Okay. Oh, Stacy, you're very welcome. Please keep the questions coming in the chat if you have any questions there. All right. So go ahead. Let's take a minute and do that. So ask it about yourself, but selecting 2.5 Pro. And Laura, if you're able to do that, let me know if it was more accurate or if it's the same. If anybody else wants to chime in, happy to hear that also. If you're just joining us, thank you for joining us. We're going over Gemini right now, one of the powerful AI tools for New York City public school employees. This is available for staff members, not available for students just yet. If you want to follow along with us, feel free to go to gemini.google.com, Make sure that you're signed into your DOE account, and then we're just asking about ourselves. All right. So again, at Gemini, I asked it about myself. Please give me information about me. I would like for you to try that. It's going to take a little bit longer to give you that response. If anybody tested out 2.5 Pro, what'd you see? What was different? Maybe it was more accurate. Maybe it gave you more info. I'll give you all a minute to do that. More information, Melania. Thank you. Melania, was it more accurate, or was it did it hallucinate, or pretty much just an expansion of the bulleted list that I gave you before?
It was an expansion of the information I asked before. Yes.
Was it accurate?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
100% accurate.
And so what's interesting about that is, like, yeah, this is information about yourself that's out there. And can you imagine that? Like, this, how these systems work, like how these AI systems, quote, know all of this, is that these companies, these AI companies such as Google, such as OpenAI, they have created a system where they've taken every piece of writing online. All right. So that's every website, every news article, every social media post, everything, and taken that and put that information into their AI system. First of all, that's crazy when you think about that. Every piece of writing online, on the internet, these companies have created a system where they've taken all that and put it into their AI systems. And so now when you ask it a question, it's using this, like, very, complicated, advanced algorithm to take that information and give you your answer. So that in itself, from a technology standpoint, that's wild. But that's how these things, quote, know everything. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Feel free to let me know. Okay. Stacy, thank you. So when you're logged in, can you use it to make groups using student names? And okay, that's a really great question, Stacy. Yes, you can do that if you're using Gemini, because it's ERMA approved. Again, so whatever you feel comfortable using in your DOE Google Drive. So, I'm sure it's happened where you have a Google Sheet that has your students' names in your DOE Google Drive, or you're emailing a colleague from your Outlook that has student names. So if you feel comfortable doing that, like if you're able to do that, then yes, you can do that in Gemini, or other ERMA approved tools.
Yeah, because I'm assuming you wouldn't want on like Chat GPT to be putting in kids like OSIS numbers and whatever. But if I was needing to make groups, or like organizing kids based on how they did on an assessment or something like that, this is like a closed system when you log in. Because like I know otherwise you'd be putting the information into Chat GPT and like they'd be learning all this information about private information about students.
Correct. Yeah. Don't do that in ChatGPT.
Right. But in this, but what I'm saying is in this, you can do stuff like that because it's like a closed system.
Correct. Not just that it's closed, but here, let me point this out right over here. If I go back to, this is really hard to see down here, but I'm highlighting this text at the bottom. Your NYC DOE chats aren't used to improve our models, meaning how generally how these companies improve their AI models is they take your chats and then they'll, import that into the AI model, right? So that, yeah, all that information, if you're using private information, that stuff is being fed into this model. And as you can see down there, because it went through this process, you can put student information in there. Actually, I recommend you doing that if you wanted to create random groups or analyze data in a certain way. And then, yeah, it says it down there, went through this process, it's not being trained. So yeah, it's safe in that respect. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you for that question. Feel free to add more questions if anybody has any. All right. So a glimpse of what AI can do. We already showed some of that. Again, if you've not used these tools before, here, let me show you something. Okay. And then I would love for you all to test this out also. All right, here I am in Gemini. I had a, let me go to that slide. I had an example prompt on there. Okay, so here I am in Gemini, and I'm gonna say, create a rubric about the life cycle of a butterfly for 3rd grade. Okay. Again, this is not the best prompt. I just want to give you all an example of this. So I'm going to ask it to create a rubric. All right. I'm going to hit enter, and then we'll see what happens. So I feel like at this point, many of us have used an AI tool to do this. I want you to see that, Gemini works very similarly, and I'm still logged into 2.5 Pro. I can try this again with the other model. So because I'm using Pro, it's working a little bit more slowly, but it should give me a more, robust rubric here. And it created it pretty quickly, as you can see. All right, so here's a rubric for 3rd grade. Looks like it's ready to print, actually. Student name, project title. You get your excellent versus beginning, the 4 stages. It gives you information on how to, grade their work. I'm looking through this. Like it looks good. Again, I'm just like skimming through it. Look, teacher comments and a score over there. But again, as a teacher, as anybody using these AI tools, I urge you all to double check, make sure that it's accurate. All right. So as a teacher, you have the expertise in this subject. You want to look through it and make sure that it's actually correct. All right. Like these are the 4 stages. This rubric makes sense. It's the egg, larva, pupa, chrysalis, adult butterfly. Make sure that it all makes sense before you use it. And then you can continue to modify this. And that's what I love about this. So let's say you're working with ELs, English language learners, and you want this to be, to have, include a Spanish translation. So this is a chatbot. You want to chat back and forth with it. Most of the time, you're not going to get that perfect response right away after that first prompt. And so you need to go back and forth with it. And so I could say, I have a good number of English language learners in my class, period. I want you to include a Spanish translation right after the English words in this rubric. All right. So let's see what happens when I say that. So I want that English Spanish translation. It's doing the thinking. And again, you could do this manually, but it might take some time, right? So it's doing its slow thinking. Again, if you had the 2.5 Flash, it's going to give you a similar response, but it may work quicker, all right? So this is interesting. Butterfly life cycle. It has it down here, student name, parentheses in Spanish. Even the headers of the categories are in Spanish. I have the English right here, and then the Spanish translation down here. Okay. But did it do it here? It didn't do it here. So I guess this could be, I'm glad this happened. I guess, oh no, wait a minute. There's some Spanish translations in there. So you might want to ask it again. For the most part, it's there. Oh, okay, like these main words are there. I'm gonna ask it again. Let's try it one more time, because I would like the full translation on there. Update so the full Spanish translation follows the English text. And I'm going to do something else under tools. So right now, this is your traditional chat view, right? So I'm asking a question, it's giving me a response. If I go down and I have what I want to ask next, it's right there. Under tools, I'm going to click on Canvas. And again, maybe yours just says Canvas already. Same thing. So I have what I wanted to do. So it says update. So the full Spanish translation follows the English text. And the main difference also is that Canvas is selected. So when I hit enter, it's thinking. We'll see what happens here. Okay. All right, this is more what I was looking for. So keep that interaction in mind. All right, I asked it a question, it gave me something okay. I refined it with like, further asking, submitting prompts saying, I want X, Y, and Z. I sent it again, and then it did it for me. And look at this view right over here. So this is what's called Canvas. Canvas, it's the same interaction, but now we're looking at it through a different user interface. You have your chat on the left, and then, your artifact here, this working window on the right. And I actually really like this view just because, just for me, it gives me a better idea of like what the document looks like. All right, so this is the document, and then I can continue to chat with it on the left side. Okay, and this looks like more in line with what I wanted. I have the English text, and then, as we see, I said, hey, update it so the full Spanish translation follows the English text, and it's right over here. After this, the Spanish text is right over there. And then lastly, if you want to take it a step further, this is the share icon. If I click on that, I can export this directly to Google Docs. Or I think there was an option down here. I saw it in an earlier iteration of this. It said export to Google Sheets. I think if I scroll up here in my chat, look, this is the first iteration of it. If I wanted to, I could export that to Sheets. Right here, open the Sheets. All right, this is what it looks like. You would have to, modify the columns and everything, but there it is in Sheets. Let me go back to Gemini. But again, that did not have the translation. If I keep scrolling in my chat, these are all of the different artifacts. I want to go to my most recent one, which is this. You can click on that share and export, and then you can export that to a Google Doc. All right, so if I click on that, it opened up a new tab, and there it is. Okay. Let me increase the size. And so you could include this Google Doc, just add it to your Google Drive, which is there already. You could share this with a colleague. You can put this in your Google Classroom. And one last thing I'll share about this, the name of the document is the last prompt that you submitted. All right, so the name of this document is update. So the full Spanish translation follows the, all right, so keep that in mind. When you create a document from Gemini, all right, and again, I did that clicking on this share and export. You could also copy the contents. When you export it to Docs, the name of the document is the last prompt that you submitted. Okay, so I would love for us to take a minute right now. I'm going to give you all, I'll give you all, let's say let's say 10 minutes. I'll give you all 10 minutes. I want you to test this out, play around with it. Let's spend the next 10 minutes. I want you to take, either your existing resources or maybe you want to create a lesson plan, and I want you to test it out in Gemini. All right, maybe ask it to build a lesson plan, maybe ask it to build a rubric, go back and forth with it, test out Canvas, and see what you get. Okay, so let's do that for the next 10 minutes. I'm going to put a timer up, and then I'll be here. If you have any questions, unmute yourself, talk to me, put it in the chat, and let me know how I can help you. But let's explore this. Let's explore Gemini for the next 10 minutes. So go ahead. I'll maybe put on some music in the background. So let's explore Gemini. Go ahead. 10 minutes, 12:55. We'll come back. And I hope you don't mind. I think I will play a little music in the background. Joining us, welcome. Exploring Gemini. So if you'd like to open up a new tab, make sure that you're signed into your DOE account and go to gemini.google.com. It's very similar to most AI tools. I'm going to ask you to create a lesson plan. Quick. See what you get. Talk about it. Feel free to ask any questions in the chat. Okay. I wish there was a way to fade out that music. um, I would love to know people's experiences. Laura, you mentioned something interesting in the chat. You said there was an option to double check the results. Tell me about that. What'd you see there?
So one of the results that I got, there was an option at the bottom if you use the, I guess it's the hamburger, but it's vertical. And it says double check results. And so what you can do is it rechecks itself. Google actually
Right
rechecks
here?
what it gave
Okay.
you. Yeah.
I love that you call that out. It's like there's so many like updates and features in here. Sometimes I forget, but like, so what happens when you clicked on it? What did you see?
It highlighted where in green where it was correct, and it highlighted in yellow where it was uncertain or where it might need to check again.
Amazing. That's awesome. That's really cool. That's really cool. I'm glad that you called that out. Thank you, Laura. And then you also said I'm just going to go over that one more time. So if anybody is unsure about the results in your Gemini response, I like that you called it the vertical hamburger. Is it?
I know it is a hamburger, but to me, hamburger is
You know what?
vertical.
These three dots, I think in the past we've referred to it as a kebab.
Oh, a kebab. That's it. Yeah. Thank you.
So-
Sorry, it's summer. I'm like, no.
Hey, it's on trend for the summer. So you can click on this kebab, and then there's something that says double check response, and then as we see, it'll highlight things that it feels confident about, and then if there were things that it was questioning, it would highlight it in yellow. You said,
It
Laura?
was yellow, yeah.
Okay, great. And then there's an option to listen to it also. So if maybe your students or yourself or you're in a situation where you just want to hear the computer talk to you or like speak this to you, you can do that also. But that's really great, Laura. Thank you. And then Laura, I'm gonna keep you in the hot seat right here. You said you use Canvas to create an image of an idea. Tell me more about that.
I just had the image of an individual feeling ignored or dismissed by a large tech corporation. So I thought, what would that look like in an image? And it created an image of that.
Wait
idea.
a second. Tell me, what was it?
Oh, my exact prompt?
Yeah.
Okay, so the exact prompt was create an image of a person being ignored or dismissed by a large tech corporation. And I wasn't thinking Google, so just so you know.
We'll see what it gives us. Is that it create an image? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So I can just hit enter and it'll probably do it. Under my tools, it says images with Imagine. I'm just going to select that and see what happens.
I didn't do that one. I did create with Canvas, but yeah. Like,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll see. Okay. We'll see what it does. If you're just joining us, first of all, thank you for joining us. We're exploring Gemini, which is Google's generative AI tool. Every staff member in New York City has access to it. It's free. It works very similarly to things such as ChatGPT. And right now we're testing out the image generation. So that's interesting. Okay, create an image of a person being ignored or dismissed by a big tech corporation. Okay, so it says here big tech corporation. And this also looks like it could be ISTE, but like less suits.
It does look like ISTE.
Oh, and this person is holding something that says Project Hope. I don't know if folks have tried to create images, even like last year. Text was terrible on these things. Like it would just make up like weird letters, and now it's gotten better. That's interesting. Thanks, Laura.
I think yours is better than mine, actually, because you use this Imagine.
Let's see what happens.
I didn't, and your quality is much better than mine because I use Gen AI.
Let's okay. I'm gonna try it without. You just put it in. You said Canvas, right?
Yeah, and it gave me a strange letter.
Let's see.
That doesn't exist in
So,
English. But.
Oh, look. Okay, so it's like. So this is what I mean when I say, hey, these things can code. So like it's
coding, right?
It's like coding right now. Oh.
That's what I did.
You did this?
I did generate image.
Oh, but this made it an app.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Click the button below to generate an image. I gotta try that now. That's interesting. So it did not give me. Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, that's more like what I got. Yeah, similar.
Okay. I'm glad that you did this process. So this is what happened. Okay, this is what, let me take a step back. When you're in Gemini, and you can interact with this in different ways. And there are different tools down here. Deep research, which I'll get into, Canvas, and then images. Canvas, what's great about, or like what's unique about Canvas is that, like, yes, when you submit your prompt, it breaks it into 2 windows, but Canvas is also used to create apps. Like, you can make interactive apps in Canvas. And so when we had that prompt in there, create an image of a person being ignored or dismissed, the AI system Gemini thought I meant, yeah, create an app that will create that type of image. First of all, like that's a hyper specific app. Like, pressing this button will create an image of a person being ignored by big tech. But that just gives you an idea of like what you can do with this. And so, like, I guess if you want, oh, is it the same image? That would be boring. I guess you could update it also, right? So keep that in mind if you want to make an app. Yeah. Oh, it's slightly different actually. Okay. So it depends on what you want to do. If you wanted a straight image, maybe just keep it in like the regular Gemini chat. Here, if I don't select Canvas and I just keep it in the regular Gemini app, let's see what happens. So in your regular chat window, so it's going to generate an image, but yeah, I wonder if the Imagine tool looked better. So we'll see in a second. Oh yeah, that looks very sad. I like the Imagine one better. Not that one. So yeah, here are. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. So as we can see, like depending on which method you choose, you can get a different response. So keep that in mind. Laura, thank you. I'm gonna continue to keep calling on you for the next 2 hours or so. What about everyone else? Did anyone was there anything else that, or anything that some folks wanted to share, again, via in the chat, or if you want to unmute? What was your experience creating a lesson plan or a rubric or anything using Gemini? Please let me know. Feel free to put in the chat or just talk to us. And if you're feeling shy, that's okay. So hopefully you like experience something, like learn something new using this tool. I think the best thing is just experiment with this, right? So I'm gonna go back to my slide deck. We created the rubric. I showed everybody here the different AI models you can choose, the different tools within the prompt window. This is an example of a rubric that it created, very similar to what I showed everybody earlier. Okay, I wanna talk a little bit more about how Canvas can create apps for you, because like this is pretty wild over here. All right, butterfly life cycle. All right, so the original prompt of my chat right over here with Gemini, create a rubric, right? And so it did. And then I had it create the Spanish translation, which it did. Maybe I want to take a step further. Okay, so like still, I'm in Canvas right now because it's selected. And I can say, now make a flashcard type interactive game that I can use to study the, let's say, the content of, this rubric. All right, so let's see what happens. So I'm asking it to make a flashcard interactive type game. And so I hit Canvas, and we'll see what happens here. And so what I anticipate will happen, okay, yeah, so this is AI coding for you. As this is going, I just want everyone to, just like be cognizant that like this is a very interesting time for computer science right now. For the longest time, we were encouraging our students to learn about programming, computer science. And now with generative AI, like those conversations are still there. I think it's still important, but now coding is different. And I would say the barrier of entry is much lower because you can ask these systems to code with you and build things for you. So this is interesting. I love that it's still kept the Spanish translation. Again, my prompt, make a flashcard type interactive game that I can use to study the content of this rubric. And so what is the first stage? All right, if I flip that over, and so, you know, if anybody here remembers, egg, huevo. All right, and so I can continue. That's card 1 of 8. Oh, that's interesting. How do I advance though? Okay, I love that this happened. So this is card 1 of 8. I flip this over. Maybe I'm not seeing something, but I don't know how to advance to the, oh, okay. I just use the arrow key on my keyboard. Hold on. What is the second stage? Okay. So this is pretty impressive. I'm using the arrow keys on my keyboard. It created this interactive with the translation in like 30 seconds. And this is the cool part. All of this is pretty cool, but this is the preview window. Again, this is all in Canvas. If I click on code, this is the code, the actual code that AI generated for this game. And so what I could do, does this work? Under that share button, it says copy contents. And so I can copy this code. And so what I could do, hold on one second. I could go to a Google site. So sites.google.com. Maybe you've all have made a Google website here. I started one, all right? This, I ran the same session yesterday and I did it here. Let me make a new page. Do I remember how to make a new page in Google Sites? It's been that long since I've led a session on this. New code pages. Let me make a new page. What is this flashcard? All right, so what I'm doing now, I went to a Google site. Again, you have access to this. It's free. It's ERMA-approved. If I double click in this blank area, yes, I can add text, an image, something from my drive, but I can also embed code right here. And I just pasted in that code from Gemini. Look, I just took that code and now it's here. Oh, I didn't see that. There was a previous and next. Oh, that's awesome. And now if I publish this, wow. Oh man, that's cool. Okay, view publish site. Here, check it out. I'm gonna put this in the chat so people can interact with it. And so again, my process for creating these apps was I started in Gemini, I created something, and then in Canvas, I said, now make a flashcard type interactive game. And you can ask it to make any type of game or learning resource or interactive or what. It created it. I thought the preview was cool. And so I went to the code and I copied it. You can do it manually, or you can go to share and just copy contents. And then I went to a Google site and I just pasted the code in there. Man, it's we're also living in an era right now where you can create these hyper specific interactive apps on the fly. Again, like computer science is still relevant, but now it's just it's taking on like a new meaning to, like, what does it mean to code now, when instead of, like, you know, being well versed in, say, JavaScript, like many people are vibe coding now, VIBE, vibe coding, meaning like you're going off the vibes, bro. You're like you're using natural language to tell an AI system what you want your website, your video game, your whatever interactive to be. Yeah, this is all super interesting in terms of like how you can use AI to support what you already know, enhance what you already know, take your existing curriculum, make it, it's again, I feel like so much of the emphasis on using AI tools, it's like, oh, it's fast, it saves time. Yes, that's true. But I think the better, I guess, like spotlight on this is that like you can make your existing resources even more personalized, even more engaging, even more relevant. So keep that in mind when you're using these tools. Again, this is the Wild West. We're all still learning how to integrate this tech into our lives. But as you can see, man, it took me, what, less than 5 minutes to make this interactive. I just put it in a website, and now, you know, you can interact with it. So I actually think I want to give you all some time to do that. All right, I'll give you 5 minutes. So open up a new chat if you want, and then I want to make sure that Canvas is selected. Okay, so open up a new chat, make sure Canvas is selected, and ask it to build an interactive, a game, a multiple choice quiz, a flashcard game, something on a topic that maybe you teach or something that you're interested in. All right, so here I'll demonstrate one more time. I referenced earlier, I'm a big fan of the Simpsons TV show cartoon, but like from the 90s. So let's see, build an interactive quiz that quizzes you on the Simpsons trivia from episodes from the 90s. I got a bunch of typos in there. But right now, go ahead and go into Gemini, click on Canvas, and ask it to build an interactive of some sort. Make sure Canvas is selected. Let's see what happens. And again, it's interesting because you see what the code looks like in the background. Like, I don't have a background in computer science, so like all of this doesn't really make sense to me. But again, like I think even more important to learn, you know, to continue to learn computer science, so you can go through and make sure that this is an efficient way to write the code. But it gives you an idea. Already, I love that the background is yellow, you know, because the Simpsons characters are this shade of yellow. Oh man, now I'm put on the spot. You only move twice. What is the name of Homer's supervillain boss? Hank Scorpio. This is crazy. It made this in 5 minutes. So yeah, go ahead and test it out. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes to do that. I'll put another timer up. 5, 6. Okay, yeah. We'll say I'll give you more. 120. All right. So I'll be here if you have any questions, but test out this feature. 120. We can come back. I'll put a timer on here. 7-minute timer. So let's test this out. Whoops. Let me go back. Yeah, this is super interesting here. Last exit of Springfield. That's wrong, though. I think that's wrong. So yeah, make sure that you go through the questions and make sure that you're accurate. Thanks everybody for joining us. If you're just joining us right now, we're going over Gemini, Google's AI chatbot, but we're going over something specific right now, which is the Canvas feature within Gemini. And what Canvas is, it's something that can build interactive apps for you. And so folks need a refresher on this. If you're in a new chat, at the bottom, you want to make sure that Canvas is selected. it might be there already. Just make sure that it's highlighted in blue. And when that is selected, you have an option to ask Gemini to, yes, you can build like a lesson plan or a rubric or an email, but you can also ask it to build interactive apps. So earlier I had it build a trivia game about Simpsons trivia, but it really could do anything. Let's say you're learning multiplication, build an interactive multiplication table game designed for, and you can keep the typos in there if you want, designed for, let's say, 3rd grade. I don't know if that's too early to learn multiplication, but let's see what happens. And so depending on the model that you choose, yep, there it goes. Super interesting. Wow. Okay. Multiplication fun. I'm going to put the wrong answer in there just to see. Oops. Try it again. Man, that's interesting. Wow. And something else that you could test out also. So like I built this multiplication game. It's keeping score, which is pretty interesting. There's a button down here that says add Gemini features. Let's see this. Add Gemini features. When I click on that, and if you did build an app of some sort, you can click on add Gemini features, but let's see what happens. I feel like this is one of those like I'm feeling lucky buttons there. Uses the Gemini API, generate fun facts or word problems. Get a fun fact feature. We'll see what happens here. Get a fun fact. That's interesting. I don't know if that's relevant. All right, so I'll give you all about 2 minutes. Go ahead and finish up, what you're experimenting, building an app, and then we'll check in. Okay, I'm curious. What I feel like this type of building with AI doesn't happen that much. Like when I see other sessions exploring generative AI tools, I feel like a lot of the emphasis is put on create a lesson plan, create a rubric, which is fine, especially if you're just starting out with it. But yeah, these things can build so much. Did anybody build anything interactive like during this time? I'd love to hear what your experience with that was. Like this might be your first time coding, vibe coding with AI. Feel free to let me know.
So this is definitely my first time coding, and I'm
Okay.
totally addicted, and
Oh yeah,
I'm like freaking out here.
yes, I'm glad.
So I'm like trying to type, but I figured it's faster to talk. So
Thank you. Yeah.
two things that I try. I'm a principal. So the first thing I tried to create when the first iteration what you did is I tried to do an IPC form, initial planning conference for teachers, using conversation styles from Ellie Drago Severinsen and Charlotte Danielson's framework. It was okay. I think I need to just think more about the prompts and how I want the form to look, because I want to be something that could be done in a 30-minute conversation. So I think I just have to reframe my prompts. But then moving into, because even though you're going fast, you're not, I mean, you're going slow, you're going fast. I'm like, oh. So what I just created was an opening slide deck. I was trying to create an opening slide deck for staff as kind of like an icebreaker, go get them. And we're entering into the 250th year of America, which is controversial for some, but I'm trying to figure out how to engage everybody. So I did 250 years of America trivia, and including Marvel superheroes.
Oh, nice.
But it's the interactive piece that I'm struggling with right now. Right now, I did it, and it's a glorified Kahoot, I think, which bye-bye Kahoot. I just did it. But I don't know how to make it more interactive. I guess I have to think better about my own questioning and how to make it happen.
I love that. I love that you're getting excited about it.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Please, it's like a kid in a candy shop.
Did you not know that this is possible?
No, I'm giving Eva a shout out because she's the one who's like, you need to come and sign up for this right now. So Eva, whoop, whoop.
Eva, thank you. Yeah, it's incredible just what you can make. Can you tell me how do you want it to be interactive? So you want it to be like a game?
I guess I was thinking that I have a large staff, so I was thinking opening day where they could, I guess, I don't know how I'd do it, but so what I did was, I mean, I guess I could share with you.
Yeah, do you want to share your screen?
Oh yeah, I could totally share my screen. You can see my millions of tabs open here. Hold on.
Fine. If you share your tab, we won't see.
If I share my
if you share your tab, but if you have a lot of tabs, it might be.
There you go. I think if I just share that, there, can you see that?
Yes, wonderful. Oh, great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I started here. Pretty cool. I'm sure I could make it sexier. I don't even know how. Declaration of Independence was adopted, and I guess it would be, to figure out how they could do this. I'm not really sure. What is Captain America's indestructible shield made out of? At first, it was just giving it to me as a reveal, and I said, please, can you make it a
can you click on something, see what happens?
Oh, sure. It's vibranium. Let's see, next one. What city served as the first capital? Philadelphia. No, it was New York City. What is Tony Stark's? He went to MIT. Okay, so you get a couple right, you get a couple wrong. It only gave me 8, so I'm sure I could also, let's see, Statue of Liberty. Peter Parker, anybody know? Of course, it's Queens. Come on,
Yeah,
that's easy.
Forest Hills, actually.
Hey, to get specific.
Yeah.
So that's a super year.
You want to share this with your staff?
I guess I could share it to them ahead of time. I guess I was just thinking that it's something, this is something that we're going to be working on this year, is trivia all about you. I don't know. I didn't even.
That's great. I mean, there's different ways. So like, as I mentioned, you could put it in a Google site and share it with everybody. But I think like for this format, there's value in like everybody doing it together.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you did put it in a Google site, just like what I showed earlier, copy the code, put it in the site, you could just project that up in front of everyone. Like if everybody's in the auditorium and then
that's
everyone
exactly what I was thinking.
Yelling out things. That's great. That's wonderful. I love that you did that. And that's
what first crack at it.
5 minutes.
I give not even, please.
Yeah,
it's done just Americana, and I was like, let's make it fun. Let's put in some Marvel things, and it just which is very exciting.
And you could like, if you wanted to make the tie between Marvel or whatever and America stronger, you could ask Gemini. It's like, hey, I want to, I want to make a stronger connection between this and like something pop culture. What could I do? Yeah.
I'm going to type it in: stronger connection between America and pop culture.
Like specifically to celebrate like the 250th anniversary, right? Great.
Let's see. Oh, we should spell that right. Sure.
Yeah, or not. It'll know.
It just knows. Listen.
I'm curious to see what
It would do.
Yeah. Because again, like you're
I never would have even thought to put that prompt in there. That's what's great.
yeah, it's really a thought partner.
It is a thought partner. That's exactly
Yeah.
it. We're not creators, we're editors, and that's what how I have to reframe my thinking. Of course, I've updated the trivia deck to include a stronger, more direct connections between American history and the pop culture icons, specifically to an anniversary theme. Here's the updated version. Oh wait, it's slow thinking. Where does it pop up?
Can you scroll? So it's still like update. Can you scroll down a little bit more? Okay, here's the revised version. It's still working on it.
Okay.
I'm curious to see, because like you could also, again, there's a million ways to interact with it. It's just like having a conversation. Like
Here we go. All right, you ready?
like right now it integrated. Yeah, go ahead. Right now it integrated the updates. You could say, just give me a list of what you are thinking about doing before it edits the actual.
Oh, that's good to know.
So yeah, let's see what happens when.
Okay, Declaration of Independence. We know that, right? Oh, what? Oh, I think I hit the wrong one. Captain America was created as a patriotic hero during which real world conflict. Oh, I like it.
That's interesting. And I wow, and I do remember that as part of his origin.
Which founding father, a brilliant innovator and diplomat, could be considered the Tony Stark of the 18th century? Ooh. I'm going to argue here because I feel like Tony Stark was an immigrant, and was he an immigrant though? I don't know if he was. I think he was an American born and bred. He was rich, and Thomas Jefferson was rich. I'm going to say Thomas Jefferson. Benjamin Franklin, with his innovations, the lightning rods and bifocals, he was the key diplomat in securing French aid for the Revolution because he was the genius of his time.
And also keep in mind, you can also like modify the answers in there. So if you go into you can two ways. You can ask it and say, hey, I actually want the answer to be X because of this reason. Or if you go into the code, you could like retype the answers in the code.
Oh,
because,
okay. So you just go straight.
Like right now we're going on like AI's observations on this, thoughts on this. And so again, some of this you could modify and make it your own.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Spider-Man had many epic battles over the Brooklyn Bridge, which is this iconic New York landmark opened in 1883, which was its major distinction. It was the tallest structure in North America. I don't know if anybody knew that, but it was at the time. Yeah. Brooklyn Bridge, and that is correct. Wow, this is fantastic. I never would have even thought about linking Marvel superheroes and
so
Liberty, and then I think that's it. Oh, and there's one more, American Dream. Oh, Steve Rogers. I guess it's true. He is the American Dream. And that's it. There you go. That's very cool. And
so you could continue to update it. Maybe you want more slides than 8. Maybe you want to do whatever. So thank you. Thank you, Heather, for sharing that with us.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So again, we're all learning this for the first time. I'm gonna present now, so you have your screen back. Oh, feel free to unshare your screen. just in case, like you're doing okay. Wonderful, thank you.
Like I said, I'm new to this. I'm sorry.
No, it's like we're all new to this. Don't worry about like that's what I love about like going over this Gen AI stuff with there. Like there's no experts. So like we're all enthusiasts working on this. Anyway, I'm gonna give us all a break in a minute. But is there anything else people like made that was surprising or interesting or that they wanted to share? Again, feel free to unmute, put it in the chat if you want.
So I actually tried it out, and hold on, let me see if I could.
Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, give me one second.
Yeah, take your time.
Okay, let me just share the entire screen. Oh, it won't even let me share. Oh.
It's asking you for a tab.
Yeah. So.
Okay. And you can, yeah. Oh, great.
So what I did here, I asked if it can build an interactive game for students to play based on easy science.
Great.
So it built something called Science Safari. So it's like for each correct answer, you'll move your Safari Jeep further along the trail.
Oh,
I
interesting.
took a screenshot. Yeah. So this is what it looked like at first, and then the Jeep would move across with every
Yeah.
answer that's answered correctly.
Huh.
And then I decided to revise it, and I added, "Can it look like the board game Game of Life?" So then, yeah, so it said that it'll make it more visual and interactive. So it now redesigned the game completely to feature a winding path on a game board. So when you answer a question correctly now, your game piece will move to the next square.
Yeah.
So it looks like this. So for example, what force keeps us on the ground? Gravity. And then you click continue, and then it actually moves.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
that I thought was really interesting. I want to revise it some more to see if I could probably do it in such a way where, you know, sometimes on Game of Life, like if you get something wrong or something, I can't remember how the game goes, but then like you kind of go like 2 steps back or something.
Yeah.
So I think that would be interesting. But what I also found intriguing is that
you choose the wrong answer. I just want to see what happens. Like, so it doesn't move it back.
So I'm going to show you that in 1 second, but
Okay.
I wanted to actually show like this part I found fascinating because you can tell the information is very updated because remember we dropped Pluto from our solar
Right.
system.
It's a dwarf
So I
planet.
wanted to, so I put 8 in to see if it's going to give you 8 instead of 9, and it said correct.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool. So now let's just give a wrong answer. So hydrogen. So oops, that wasn't it.
So it stays
So it
there.
doesn't move. Yeah. So I think maybe
That's it. Yeah. With every wrong answer, move back 1 space or something. Yeah. Man, this is coding. Coding with English is the English is a new coding language. Like for real. Like
yeah, this is insane. I didn't even know you could do this on here. This is really
Really?
nice.
Oh.
So
like, yeah, let's see what happens. It's so positive too. Excellent idea.
right? So it's saying, okay, so it's updating it right now. And now it says if you answer a question correctly, you'll move forward 1 space as before. However, if you get an answer wrong, you'll be moved back 1 space on the board. So I've also updated the feedback text to make the outcome of each answer clear. You can try the new rule by pressing preview. Okay, so it's loading right now.
Yeah. That's pretty incredible. I love that as it's loading, I love that, you weren't familiar with like this aspect of, AI yet. I mean, okay, let's see what happens.
Yeah, this is fascinating. So answer questions to travel along the board. So we'll do Mars. Let's do 2 questions. And then the next one I'll do wrong.
Okay.
So what force keeps us? Let's just say magnetism. So it says, oops, you move back 1 space. And it takes you
man.
Yeah. Really cool. So I think like as you build it out more, you could probably do like make that to actually look like the board game itself. I wonder if that would be pretty interesting.
And so again, if you wanted like to share this with people to actually interact with it, like you could copy the code, put it in a Google site, and then share it with whomever. Word on the street is that, again, like these tools are being updated constantly. I'm hearing rumors that there's going to be an even easier way to share these interactive artifacts with people.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm envisioning, under the share button, you can just like share a link, and then people will be able to interact with it. So that's, man, this is really fun. Yeah,
really awesome. This is amazing. Thank you.
I'm glad that that you're having fun with this. Thank you. And anyone else, did anyone create something interesting with this, or want to share, or have any questions about it? Feel free to unmute or let me know. Okay. I'm going to give you all a break right now. 10 minutes. Let's come back at 1:45. I'm going to share this Oh yeah, I'm gonna share my screen. Hold on. And then we'll talk about some other interesting features. There's like the big talk in AI right now are agents, which are like things that do something on your behalf. I'm gonna talk about like how we can use agents in like a research option here. So where is that? Okay. All right, let's take a break, and then I'll see you in 10 minutes. Thank you. Okay, folks, we'll jump back into it. I'll give everybody another minute, but Vanita, that game sounds really fun. And yeah, if you're able to, please throw it into a Google site and then share it here, because I'd love to test it out. That sounds really cool. All right, let me get back to the slide deck. Okay, we're going to jump back into it. Thank you, everybody, for being with me here, experimenting with these things. I love seeing what everybody's making using the Canvas feature within Gemini. Another thing, so I'm going to be going over a bunch of things that we can experiment with Gemini. I do want to explore this with everybody real quickly. So there's something in Gemini called gems. Nobody ever knows what that is, but what a gem is, it's a personalized chatbot that you can make within Gemini. So if you've attended one of our sessions before, you may have some familiarity. If you've never heard of this before, I want to give you some more context on what this is. So again, a gem in Gemini is a way where you can create a personalized chatbot that has pre-programmed instructions on how it interacts with you, right? So what does that mean? So in Gemini, if you move your mouse over to the left side, you'll see the 3 horizontal lines, or, we love a good food reference, so I call that the hamburger. When you move your mouse over the hamburger, you'll see your side panel show up, and then there's something that says gems. All right, so here's some example gems that I have. I'm actually going to switch to my actual Gemini window. I think this might be easier. Okay, so here I am in Gemini. As I mentioned, if I move my mouse over to the left side and I click on this, the hamburger, you'll see all of your previous chats. All right, and then actually, let me talk about this real quickly. First, you can't delete any chats that you've had in the past with Gemini, at least not right now. I know that's kind of weird, but all of the different chats that you have with Gemini, they're all going to show up in this side panel right over here. It's unruly. It's kind of messy. Maybe you're one that embraces chaos, but all of this is here. So you can't delete chats, but you can organize them in a little bit. And what I mean by that, if you click on these 3 dots here, again, also known as the kebab, you can rename the chat to give it a more descriptive name, or you could pin it. You could pin that chat. And so I have a few chats that are pinned right here, so they'll always be on top. All right, so this period 1 class that I was using as an example, I pinned it, I can unpin it, and it goes back down in order of like the last time I used that chat. Okay, so keep in mind that at this moment, you cannot delete chats, but you can rename and pin them. And then thirdly, there's a search bar up here. You could click on that, and then, if I'm looking for, let's see, assessment, you can use keywords and search for things that have, that search term in there, and it's either going to be in the actual title of the chat or in the conversation of that chat. So as you can see, I have a lot of conversations that have the word assessment, so you might want to choose something that's a little bit more descriptive. So keep that in mind. Okay, you can pin the chat, rename it, search using this search bar up there. Going back to what I was saying about gems. So in this area, there's something that says explore gems. So if you click on that, it's going to bring you to your gem manager. Here are some pre-made gems made by Google, just to give you an idea of what these are, how it can work. There's a learning coach, a writing editor. Learning coach, what happens if I click on this? All right, okay. It'll help me learn. How does photosynthesis work? So if I click on that, I hit enter, it's going to give me, this is like pre-trained to interact with me in a way that promotes learning, as opposed to just giving me a summary or what have you. All right, so that's what that looks like. Let me go back to explore gems. So again, these are all pre-made by Google, and these are the ones that I've created here at the bottom. And so let me give you all an idea of how this works, and then I'm going to give you some time to build your own gem. All right, so again, like, why would you even use a gem versus just having a new chat within Gemini? Well, with gems, again, they're personalized, so you can include instructions on how it's going to automatically interact with you. And so this is really good for repetitive tasks. So what are some examples? Like feedback, right? So if I put some text in there, maybe it'll automatically go through a rubric that I've uploaded and provide feedback. Working with school leaders recently, a lot of the time is taken with teacher observations. So we've created gems where you put the low inference notes, it runs through. Vanita, thank you. I'll take a look at that in a little bit. Thank you so much. With a teacher observation, it'll go through like certain Danielson points, and then it'll organize your low inference notes in a specific way. I'll start with this easy one here. All right, field trip planner. So let me start without a gem. I'm going to start with a new chat. Okay. So this is not a gem. I'm just going to go to a new chat. Okay, and then I'm just going to say, I'm a 6th grade teacher who lives in New York City, and I'm interested in taking my class on a field trip to explore the concepts of social studies, period. What are my options, question mark. All right, so I could do that. I could just open up a new chat. All right, 6th grade teacher interested in social studies. What are my options? All right, so it's going to give me a bunch of different options, and these are great. These are wonderful, but maybe I want to know how much they cost, right? Like maybe I want to know like the schedule. Maybe I'm like, all right, tell me how much, this tavern museum is, and I would go back and forth, right? How much is admission at, and I'm going to leave the typos in there. So it's pretty manual. It's going to give me some information, and again, double check that this is accurate. And I'm like, oh, actually include the pricing for all of those different museums. All right, so again, I can go back and forth. This is a non-gem, right? This is just your regular Gemini chat. It's doing all that. Okay, so again, that information is great, but how can we make this even more efficient? So this is where a gem comes into play. So if I go to gems, explore gems, I have all of the ones I've created here, field trip planner. All right, so I'm just going to say 6th grade social studies. 6th grade social studies. All right. Okay, so let's say, hey, you're looking for that. Tell me a little bit more about specific topics. So, okay, Mesopotamia. All right. So I want to know what specifically I want to go over. All right. And so it's giving me this response. All right. So it's suggesting the Met. It has relevant subject areas, 6th grade. It's giving me a brief description, estimated cost, the website, and it's giving me other suggestions. Okay. And the reason why it's giving me the response in this format is because I pre-programmed it to respond to my question or my prompt in this way. Oh, this is interesting. The Morgan Library holds an exceptional collection of ancient Near Eastern seals and cuneiform tablets. This is great. All right. So again, I could have got this same response with a regular chat, but then I would have to keep prompting back and forth, right? And so what does this look like under the hood? This particular field trip planner. So if I go to explore gems and I go down to field trip planner and I click on view, that pencil button. this is what it looks like. This is how it's pre-programmed. So it has instructions that I put in there. You are an interactive field trip planner. Your aim is to greet the user, ask for grade level, specific subject area, provide relevant and engaging suggestions. The interaction should be friendly. Each suggestion should include field trip name, location, relevant subject, grade level, brief description, website, estimated cost. And I can continue to add on there. You know, maybe I want to include, you know, estimated travel time from, you know, you include where your school is, you know, from, you know, South Bronx. Okay. So I included all of that information in there, and then I'll hit update. And so I can try it once again. All right. So I can do it here, or I can go back to the Explore Gems and find my field trip planner right over here. I don't know why it always says why does photosynthesis work? Okay. Field trip planner. So let's say, you know, 9th grade math, specifically algebra. All right. So I added that on there. What grade? Okay. Museum of Math, duh. But then it gives you information why, brief description, estimated travel time from South Bronx, approximately 30 minutes by car. Shoot, what time of day? Hall of Science. Okay, so again, using a gem is a way to get specific responses with this chatbot. And so think about your workflow. Think about like, what is it that you're doing on a repetitive basis? Again, many people have created gems on like student feedback. Maybe you want to upload like a rubric that you want this to work against. Let me demonstrate what that looks like. So if I wanted to update this field trip planner even more, there's something down here that says knowledge. And I can, like, if I wanted to make this a feedback, you know, gem, I can upload files or link from my Google Drive, the rubric that I wanted to, you know, judge it against, some other specific resources. And then in my instructions, I want to say, hey, first, take this text, grade it against this rubric. Step 2, take that, organize it in this way, what have you. All right. And I'm going to show you one more thing, and I would like for us to demonstrate, or I would like for you to create your own gem. So you would, if I want to make a new gem, I would go to the left side, explore gems, new gem. And so let's say I do want to create something about student feedback. All right, I'll call this one student feedback. And I'm going to give it some instructions. I am a 9th grade English teacher, and I would like for this gem to help me analyze student text and provide feedback. So that's very broad and not a very, you know, these instructions could be better. And I purposely left it like this because I want to show you this option at the bottom down here. It says use Gemini to rewrite instructions. So you could give it a very, you know, basic set of instructions, and then you could use this. When I click on this, it's going to analyze, you know, my subpar prompt, and it's going to suggest an even better way, even better set of instructions. And again, it's up to me to decide whether I want to use this or modify it. So right now, it says, it just took that very basic prompt and it said, okay, the purpose and goals of this gem: assist the 9th grade English teacher in analyzing student text, provide constructive and actionable feedback. Here are the behaviors: converse in a helpful, professional style. And again, I could upload a rubric if I wanted to. All right, so I'm going to save this, but I don't have any feedback to give it. So why not use Gemini to create some fake student work? Let's see, generate a 2-paragraph, you know, essay that a 9th grader wrote on the Civil War. Okay. So now it's AI generating AI. All right. So this is AI's version of a 2-paragraph essay on the Civil War written by a 9th grader. I'm gonna take this text. I'm gonna go to my student feedback gem. I'm gonna paste it in there. And it's gonna go through my instructions. Okay, provide a student text. What specific areas of this text would you like me? Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, a general assessment of the writing. Okay, and it gives me an assessment. So this is like a slippery slope because, like, yeah, as an educator, like, you want to go through the writing and you want to provide feedback that you believe like this particular student needs. So you as an educator need to find out what is the balance of you using a tool like AI to help you in this process. Perhaps you have your own rubric or your own style of feedback that you may want to include in the instructions. And so when it goes through it, that's the first pass. Then you go through the feedback, make sure that it makes sense, comparing that against the student work. So there's another term, human in the loop. You want to always make sure that a human is in the loop of this process. And so, yeah, the tools are there, but it's really up to you to figure out, like, what is that balance of making sure that your voice, your views are still in there. Any questions right now on gems? Like, have you used it before? What do you see yourself using it for? Because, yeah, I'd like to give you all some time to make a gem. All right, so feel free, let me know if you have any questions. So again, that was on the side here, and then it's gem manager. Even yes, somebody have a question?
No questions. I see myself using it. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So I'm gonna give you all. I'll give you all 10 minutes to work on this gem, and I'll put a timer up. So go ahead. I'll say 2:15. We'll come back. I'm gonna put an image up that says, "Let's build a gem." Come back at 2:15. But I think this is pretty. Let's build a gem. I think this is pretty interesting, just like using the gems. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna put this up. Let's come back at 2:15, and then we'll talk about the gems that we made. And I'm here if you have any questions. Feel free to put something in the chat. Unmute. So let's try that. And I'm gonna test out, Vanita. I'm gonna test out your game over there.
Sounds good. Let me know your thoughts.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
right, let's start getting settled back in. I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit. I made a gem friend. Oh no, AI friends, Laura. I want to hear about that. Laura, tell me about that gem friend.
Okay, not really a friend. I called it a tech thought partner.
Oh, interesting.
And I said, "What's your name?" And it said Gem. So
That's
my friend Gem.
I'm glad it didn't say Jim. What were the instructions? Would you program it with?
Yeah. Oh, let me find the original.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah, where's my? Let me find the original. Let me hold on. I just called it Tech Company Thought Partner,
Mhm.
and I don't find the original instructions here, which is interesting.
It's not in the gem.
No,
Even when you edit it, like, what do you see in there?
I see. No, I just see my conversation with Gem.
Oh, even when you edit it, you want to share your screen?
Sure. I don't mind sharing my screen. You can see all my mistakes.
Or just the tab, and we're just experimenting here.
Yeah, sure.
I think I figured out why. You know how you ask why it has that prompt every time you open up your gem?
Yeah.
I think it's because when you saved it, because I did the same thing, it says on the right side preview and it says enter a prompt. I bet that's you put it in there and then you saved it because then it automatically shows.
Daniel, thank you. Let me check that out. Let me check.
Because I'm like, why is it talking about fantasy football with my with my like evaluation gem?
You're right. Look, right over here. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Daniel,
Yeah.
thank you. And I'm going to come back to you. I want to hear about that fantasy football thing.
It's just funny. That was on my mind. I'm like, let me see if I can rig this system.
All
it's
right.
pretty good, actually. It gives me the same advice of like paid sports websites, so it's pretty cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Laura, I love it. Okay, so a tech company thought partner. Yeah, that's funny. Go to explore gems on the left. Thank you. And then click on that pencil.
Oh,
yeah,
thank
there.
you.
Okay. Yeah, no.
Could not find that one. So yeah, this is what I wrote.
Oh, cool. Looking for a tech company approving the existing projects. Can you do me a favor? Can you copy that?
Yeah.
The instructions, and then I want to see. Oh, it's not gonna. Oh, that option's not available at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's not available that should be?
Say again.
What was not available that should be available?
See that little pencil with the star, like improved
yeah.
with Gemini. I don't know why. You are an inspiring and tech introvert. It should do that. That's enough. Do me a favor. Delete that period. Yeah, right there. Okay, try it now.
Okay.
I'm just curious to see how it'll improve those instructions.
Wow. Okay, it's a lot.
Yeah. And so again, it's up to you whether you want to keep any of those goals or the purpose.
I just thought like maybe for students to start thinking of themselves as entrepreneurs or as, how could you make this existing product better? Like giving them a person or not person, but a person to talk to.
Can we test it out? Can you click update?
Yeah.
And then at the top right, and then yeah, let's not do the preview. I don't want to stay in there, but it's right there on the left, tech company thought partner, and like that turquoise circle on the left panel.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So say you have an idea for an app or something.
I have an idea for an app. Okay. What else?
Let's send that, see what happens. Huh. Say it'll improve the EdTech portal.
That's great. I think we all believe in that too.
Improve a way for teachers to learn PD or something like that. Yeah.
How about for teachers to register?
Sure.
Also the typos, I love those. Measure for PD. Does it know what I'm talking
We'll
about?
see. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Okay.
Well, that's interesting. Tell me more. Okay. I'll pause it right there, but like that's great. I love that you're framing it in that way as like a thought partner. It's funny that it's called Gem. Call it Gym. That's great. Thank you.
Sure.
Daniel, did you want to talk more about your fantasy football one?
No, it's just funny. We're great too.
What were the instructions? Yeah, what did you want to do?
I was trying to do a real one now. Let me see where it was.
Hey, that's real.
I know. Do you want me to just share my screen?
Yeah, sure. That'd be great. If you're able to, that'd be great.
See if I can. So to assist users in creating a fantasy football plan by providing data-driven insights. I mean, just basically, like they're going to recommend when to. Actually, let me show you. So I did one.
Oh, interesting.
So like I asked, like, so it tells me like who I should pick, what round I should pick them in, what did they get last year, like points wise. So and then what I like is this, like if someone's taken, they have other targets.
That's interesting.
It was just for fun.
I like that. So I've never done fantasy football, but like even myself, who's like not well versed in this by any means, I love like the data approach that it's taking.
Yeah. So I basically set it up so that it looks at last year's stats to give you recommendations this year.
Yeah.
Like basically everything. I copy and pasted what other websites, like drafting websites, they asked they give the information they give you. So I was curious to see if they got the same people, and they do. Literally, they like round one. These are the players that they recommend. So, and then they break it down. Like I broke it down into like, tell me what would be. It's not even here. Like, what would be a perfect draft, or like so. They told me exactly who to take, and it's cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm glad you used this example because again, like I never would have thought of it, but you said there are paid websites that offer something.
Yeah. There are paid websites that do the draft for you, like with you, for you.
Wow.
But then there's like magazines that are filled with these stats, and which I know you don't need because it's all on the computer, but this crunches all the numbers for you, which is very cool.
That's really interesting. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Anything else? Any other gems people made or anything that they may have encountered during this process? Okay.
I actually have one question.
Please.
So my real one is I'm trying to figure out how to do like online course evaluations, but the courses that I oversee are ones that you need to be like you need to sign in, like DOE sign in into like WeLearn iLearn. How is there a way so that you can get Gemini to sign into the courses with your credentials, so that they can evaluate the course?
I'm not aware of anything like that now. But also like I guess the other question is like if it does sign in, like what would you want it to analyze?
That's why I gave it a whole list of things to analyze.
Okay.
So I'm just curious if that was because I've tried other AI platforms, and I run into the same thing. It's a lot of things. My work is on things that you have to sign into, and it's not really like a PowerPoint where you can just copy and paste a slide deck.
Yeah.
So, which I guess you could in a sense, but yeah, no, I'm just curious because that would be kind of cool.
That is pretty cool, and I feel like the industry is moving toward that way where you send like an AI agent to go and like scrape something. But yeah, the single sign-on and the login walls, like that's an issue. Since these tools are synced with your DOE Google account, like what you were mentioning earlier. So let's say you were signed into an account or like an online course, you could probably take screenshots. You could probably download the the resources that are part of the class. like the outline of the class, put it all into like a Google Doc or even a folder.
So break it down. Okay.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
and then within Gemini, like you're able to upload a file from your Google Drive, and then it can go through its process.
Because I know you can go the other way. Like you showed us how you can create slide decks by telling them what you want information, presentation on.
Yeah.
But I wanted to try to do it the opposite direction. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's interesting though. That's great. Thank you. And anyone else like want to share what gem they made or something similar?
Okay.
Did you have
I'm
something?
willing to do. Yes, I do.
Oh, please. Yeah, I would love to hear.
Let me see if I can share.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, there's like a little square at the bottom with the arrow up if you wanted to present your screen.
Yes, that's what I want. Then this is eating me right now.
What's that?
It's mm, mhm. I don't know why.
Okay, so when you click on that like present screen, the square with the arrow up, a window should pop up and you can choose a tab or a window. Depending on how many tabs you have open, maybe it's easier to present your entire screen if you want. Or you can just tell us. You can tell us what gem you made.
Okay, what I did was like I put the Spanish field trip. So that it gave me suggestion about the hold on. So it gave me the goals, purpose and goals about in one side, and the other side was asking me about a prompt. And the prompt that I chose was the cultural immersion and exploration. So it asked me to, be specific about the topic.
Okay.
So yes, I like wrote about like give me the best like options about those places. I just type the places in Spanish about Latin America. So it gave me the choice about Machu Picchu, Peru, and it gives me the options, what I'm supposed to ask the student and how to approach them in that.
Gotcha.
So, and I gave me the size where I can go and do a virtual like tours for the student, so I don't have to even travel with them to do that. So it gave me a lot of options, and I explored those options. Like it gave me websites where I can show the virtual tours to them and everything. So yeah, that's what I did, and that's all.
Melania, thank you so much for sharing that with us. I'm glad that you're exploring this and getting some information from those field trips. So that's great. Like we're all testing it out. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, because they say like how much, like what is your budget?
Yes.
How many students do you have? So no, the student can afford to travel to those places. So the best way to do it is just like doing the virtual tours in the classroom for them.
I see.
That's
right. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's great. I love hearing, the different use cases that people have with these tools. We got about 30 minutes left. I think I might end a little bit early because a good PD always ends early. So I'm gonna, do a brief overview of the remaining content that I have here. Yes, triple hearts for that one, Laura. So we went over gems. So right now, there's no way to share a gem, unfortunately. But again, word on the street, rumor has it that soon there's going to be an option where we can share gems. And that's interesting, right? So if you think about it, like you have your school leadership team, maybe they worked on a gem with, teachers on like a way to streamline a certain process. Instead of everybody having to create your gem from scratch, you can have like a special team create this gem, and then they can share it out with multiple people to use. So that's coming soon. Right now, if you had a really great gem and you wanted to share it with someone, the best way to do it, or the way that we're doing it right now, is you would need to go to your gem, right? So you need to go to Explore Gems, you got to edit it, and then you would have to copy this text right here, the instructions, and then you could either put it in a Google Doc or something similar, and then share that with whomever, and then they would have to copy it, paste it into a gem, add the resources if there are any, right down here, and they would make their own gem. Okay, so at this moment in time, that's how you share a gem. However, I believe coming soon, there's going to be a way to share gems with people, and that's going to help streamline things, and I think that's going to be super popular with everyone. All right. So another thing I wanted to show everybody with Gemini, again, there's so many different features. We're not going to get to them all today, but I just wanted to give everyone just like a brief overview of these things. So there's something in tools, and it's not here with 2.5 Pro. So I'm going to go down to 2.5 Flash. Under tools, there's something called deep research. And this is super interesting, right? So if I click on deep research in Gemini, and remember, you got to be on a 2.5 Flash. What I was referencing earlier about like the current conversation with these AI companies is around agents, AI agents. And what that is, it's just like a fancy way to say an agent is an AI system that will go out and do something on your behalf. So as Daniel was saying, perhaps one day we'll have access to an agent that will use your credentials, log into a system, and either look at the online classes that we're a part of or something else. That is where the near future is headed. These AI agents, again, like AI systems that will do something for you, like go out and search the internet for you. But you do have access to something that is similar right now, and that's deep research. So if you had a research question, and there's some suggestions down here, research trends from a marketing study, what have you, or strategy. Let's say, I'm a school leader that wants to update my security plan, period. My school is a middle school that has 1,000 students, and I want to improve, our cell phone ban policy, period. I want you to explore how cell phone ban policies are working within New York City, as well as nationwide, as well as globally, and what should we keep in mind when we create our cell phone policy at our school. Okay, so it could be a question like that. So I updated it, cell phone policy. Okay, so it could be anything, or maybe you want to research a specific topic. You want to learn about, the history of what have you. So you include a research question or something that you want Gemini to go out and research for you. Deep research is selected. So when I hit enter, it's going to process my prompt, and then it's going to give me its research plan. All right, and it's going to give me a plan on what it plans to do. So this is the cell phone policy research. It's going to investigate current cell phone policies locally, globally, nationwide, explore, other aspects of that. Oh, that's interesting. Analyze educational, social, and psychological arguments. It's going to compile a list of considerations. It's going to do all these things. And then it's going to create a report, and it's going to be ready in a few minutes, which is incredible. So I'm going to hit start research, and it's going to do it. And in terms of an AI agent, so Gemini is currently going out and searching all of these different websites. And so I've seen it search, 20, 50, 100, more than 100 different websites related to your question. And so already this is insane. It's researching these different websites, these different YouTube videos. You can click on all of these different resources that it's searching. It's giving you its plan right now, researching even more websites. And so this takes some time. This takes depending on how involved your research question is, this can take anywhere between 5 or 10 minutes. but it's pretty remarkable to see this do that. While it's doing that, I'm going to pull up previous deep research questions that I've done here. So here I created this deep research report earlier in the month. And so here it says I'm a school leader and I've been asked to create an AI policy similar to what I just put in there, research what people are doing around here. Okay, so it went through, it took about 5-10 minutes, and then it created this really in-depth research report. And again, all of these things have citations, or it tells you where it's pulling this information from. All right, so this particular research report is on AI. It's giving me a very comprehensive research report. Look, it's talking about the AI Policy Lab here in the DOE, through the EdSafe Alliance, all of these internal tools, all of these things. And so, yeah, if this is something that you truly wanted to learn more about, it did all this research. You would have to go down and read it, right? All of these things here. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. What is this? Comparison of K-12 integrity policy models. That's pretty cool. And then if I scroll all the way to the bottom, it's not here, but it does. Where is it actually? Okay, here it is. Or is this it? I wanted to see the citations, the different websites. Okay, here it is. So all the different iterations of this research report is in the chat, and like it went through all of these different sources, all of these different websites, which if you did this manually, look at this, there's like 200 websites here. I don't even know how long it would take to go through all these websites and compile that. All right. And it gives you its thoughts or like its process in doing that. So again, deep research within Gemini is a super powerful tool with just getting deeper insights onto anything. But then, yeah, now you got to sit down and read this like multiple page report. So if you wanted, you could export this as a Google Doc. So if I did that right now, I think it's taking some time, but it's going to export it as a Google Doc. Here we go. So it opened up a new tab. I think it's taking some time to load. Okay, so it opened up a new tab. It brought everything to this research Google Doc over here. Hold on one second. Here we go. So this is the document it created. It's the same thing. So I can share this with other people in my team. I can go through. It has all the citations. This thing is 48 pages. Okay, but then that's a very involved research topic, K-12 AI policy. The reality is, yeah, you got to set aside time to read 48 pages. Or something else you can do, you can take that Google Doc, and if I go back to Gemini, you have some other options. You can create a web page, an infographic, a quiz with these different things. Or, and this is one of my favorite tools, NotebookLM. All right, so this is also ERMA approved. It went through the process. NotebookLM.google.com. I think I took that. Here, I'll create a new notebook. So with NotebookLM, you can take specific resources and put them in your notebook. And now whenever you ask this AI a question, it's only giving you answers from the specific resources that you uploaded in here, right? That's a game changer from, or different from using Gemini, where it's just searching the internet for all these different things. And so if I took that research report and I just linked it in here from my Google Drive, all right, K-12 policy, I insert this, it's going to analyze all of those 48 pages, and I can ask questions about this, right? So like I can say, you know, what are the 3 main takeaways of this report? And again, it's only analyzing the report that I uploaded onto this notebook, or analyzing only the resources. So it's a very, you know, like focused, I guess, chatbot, only analyzing certain things. So the 3 main takeaways: DOE is shifting from a cautious stance to a proactive engagement. Yes. Effective and equitable AI integration necessitates human-centered, principle-driven policy. Yes. And then lastly, Successful and sustainable AI implementation hinges on cultivating comprehensive district-wide AI literacy, etc. Yes. And it gives you, again, citations where in the document it's pulling this information from. And this just dropped yesterday. Okay, like this is changing so quickly. If you've not seen this before, you can create an audio overview, which is essentially a podcast of two people talking, summarizing this, which sounds great. So it can generate an audio overview. But this dropped last night, everybody, a video overview. I'm going to click that right now. And like, let's see what the video overview looks like. But it takes all this information and creates like a video journey with like video resources supporting all of this information. I don't even know how long that's going to take. A few minutes. As that's cooking, I want to demonstrate what these podcasts sound like. If you've not used this before, like it's pretty interesting. This is a Common Sense Media report on AI, and I uploaded the audio overview on this. I hope it's in English because I think I did it in Spanish, but here, I'm going to play it and we'll see what it sounds like.
Bienvenida o bienvenido. Hoy vamos a meternos de lleno en un informe calentito, recién salido, de Common Sense Media. Va sobre adolescentes de 13 a 18 años. Claro, y el uso principal. Es lo típico de ayuda.
Sí, muy rápido. Lo más común son los buscadores con IA integrada, tipo Google o Bing. Y los
So those two voices are not humans. It's AI voices that has scanned this document, this research report, this 50-page research report, and it created an audio podcast that you can listen to in the car, you can listen to on the train, you can download that, put it in your Google Classroom for your students to listen to. As you can see, we can output the language in multiple languages under the settings tab here. Output language, like right now it's in English. That one I changed to Spanish, obviously, but you have a bunch of different languages here. This is one of my favorite AI tools because I think it's a game changer in terms of analyzing a lot of data and creating something. Yeah, Benita, it's incredible. Yeah, video overviews. Like it's brand new. I don't even know what they look like because it dropped last night. Yes, Milani, it's incredible. I'll play it one more time, you know, because it sounds so real.
como ChatGPT.
Vale.
Y aunque el uso es más o menos parecido por edad o si son chicos o chicas, sí se ve una primera diferencia.
Yeah, it's incredible. I hope that video overviews is released. Let me see this. No, it's still working on it. Test it out. You know, if you have the chance, it's going to take like 5 minutes to create that video overview. Like, I'm curious to know what these look like. Actually, I think there's a demo online. Hold on one second, everybody, because I want you to get a sense of what they look like. Video overview. Here it is.
Described pinnacles as... All right, folks, let's do a quick rewind of our epic field trip at Pinnacles National Park and what we learned about plate tectonics. Our tour guide, Alex, described pinnacles as this giant geological puzzle. Oh, remember this photo from the hike up? What a beautiful shot. The history behind pinnacles, as we learned, is fascinating. From 200 million years ago all the way to today. Let's review the plate boundary types. Divergent, that's when plates pull apart. Convergent is sort of the opposite. It's when a plate dives beneath another. And transform is what we saw on our trip. It was a result of plates sliding horizontally. Okay, let's look at how these relate to the earthquakes. You can see that most earthquakes occur around the Pacific Ocean basin. That's because it's lined with convergent and...
Okay. That's pretty incredible. So I might as well continue showing that. Oops. Okay, so that was what an example of a video overview looks like. Pretty wild. Let me go back here. So yeah, that dropped last night. I was working on this slide deck and I'm like, oh wow, video overviews like that. I heard about it, but that's what that looks like. I'd be curious to know like how, because I know like in text, like it'll tell you like where it got the, you know, information from. I'm curious to know how it does that in the video, but man, what a wonderful resource for educators now. You can take your lesson plan and like maybe, you know, you needed some help creating a slide deck or a presentation. You can create this video overview and then have your students watch this video, watch it together, and it's, you know, and then continue to refine it from there. Any questions on this? It's pretty great. Any questions on anything I just went over in regards to deep research in Gemini? Okay, the research on the cell phone policy is done. So this is what it looks like. So any questions on deep research or NotebookLM? Please let me know in the chat or feel free to unmute yourself. So those two things I think are super powerful. I think any person that really wants to do a deep dive into any topic will find these tools super helpful. And so then the last thing that I want to go over today, again, at this point, we're going to drink from a fire hose. There's a lot going on. There's something called Google Vids. Oh, okay, here we go. Laura, you can upload docs as sources. Yes, yeah. No, you can. Let me go over that just like one last time. So if I'm creating a new notebook, you can upload things from your Google Drive, right? So if I click on this, it's pulling up from my DOE Google Drive. I can put any of this stuff in there, okay? Even slide decks I can put in there. Whoops. Or this is pretty cool, like website links, YouTube videos, you can copy and paste text, files from your computer. Yeah, the FAQs are really great. This is really interesting too, discover sources. I feel like many people sleep on this, myself included. And so you describe what you're interested in. So cell phone ban policy in a K-12 school. All right, so like maybe you don't know what sources you want to include, but put in what you're interested in, hit submit, and it's using AI to, again, search the internet for relevant topics on that, you know, on your interest that you could then continue to put into NotebookLM. So there's something here from Oxford Learning, the Delaware General Assembly. You can go through all these. I would actually not select all the sources, but just choose individually, you know, parents want cell phones in the classroom from Ed Week. Why cell phone bans are a bad idea. So you can choose all of these. So that, again, that was, and you can import those. Again, that's all under discover. So you can add, and then there's a discover right over there. Or yes, Heather, I love that you said that. That was actually the first thing that I uploaded, Chancellor's Regs. I think I have that in here somewhere, like for real. Maybe it's in a different account, but yes, I've uploaded one of the Chancellor's Regs into the notebook. So there's like 1 million Chancellor's Regs, right? Not now. So here I am in the Chancellor's Regs. So yeah, you could just download all of volume A, or just the individual one. So let's say I just want A101. So you would download that, okay, or copy the URL. I don't know if that's protected or not. Make a new notebook. Let's see if the URL works. All right, I'm going to paste this in there, Chancellor's Regs, insert. And then, yeah, now you have a notebook all about Chancellor's Regs. All like that's like about admissions, transfers, like those things. And then there are suggested questions at the bottom. What are the general policies here? I like asking this, you know, what is the main takeaway of this regulation? Establish comprehensive policies and procedures for the admission. Okay. And it has all the sources in there. Tells you when it was issued. Perhaps you want an audio overview, or maybe you want to get crazy and create a video overview. Laura, you were talking about an FAQ. I can click on that. So it's generating an FAQ only based on this Chancellor's Regs. Yeah. Heather, this is like from a school leader standpoint, like this can create systems and streamline things. Like we've not even explored this before. All right, let's see what this FAQ looks like. Here we go. What is the purpose of this? And it gives you here, what are the key definitions related to school enrollment? And there's a lot here. There's a lot here, okay? So NotebookLM, so like there's, what I was saying about Gemini, I think like all of these AI systems work more similarly than they do different, right? Gemini versus ChatGPT versus whatever. Gemini is great because it's ERMA approved, but NotebookLM, I've not seen really another AI tool that works like NotebookLM. So I feel like this is really the ace up the sleeve of Google's AI tools. I think NotebookLM is incredible in terms of creating your own like personalized chatbot with resources, all of this. Vanita, you created an FAQ based on transcripts from training. That's amazing. And I love hearing these use cases, okay? Any questions right now on any of this? I'm gonna show you all one last thing. Oh, you can't see how to get there. You open up a new tab, Heather. Yeah, so it's not in Gemini, so it's a little confusing. They're two separate apps. You got to go here. You got to open up a new you got to open up a new tab and go to notebooklm.google.com. All right, I just capitalized the L and the M just to make sure that we all know what letters they are. But in the case, it doesn't matter. Okay, so yeah, new tab, notebooklm.google.com. ERMA approved. It's free. Every staff member has access to it. I'm not sure if every student has access to it. I'm thinking they might not. I need to double check. I would love to have like a demo student account. I'm going to show you one more thing with NotebookLM, and this is pretty cool also. You can share a notebook. You can share this notebook with other staff, and then I believe by this fall, you can share it with other, like, I think other staff, like other members within DOE, I think including students, and then you can share it where you can only chat with it. So like right now, I think you can, right now if you share it, like people can, I think, create different resources, but there will be an option, I believe by this fall, where, you know how you can share a Google Doc that's view only? Same concept. You can share a notebook LM that is chat only. And then the resources only stay in there, the ones that you put in. So that's going to be interesting to see how people use that, how that, you know, what documents people are using this for. So yeah, when I say this is the Wild West and we're still like figuring out how this works, like I mean that. Okay. Any questions? Let me know. Unmute yourself or put it in the chat. I'm going to show you one last thing. I'm going to show you one last thing. It's, where are you? Right here. Google Vids. Okay, so I'll start with the challenge. Making a video is difficult, right? Unless you're using a video overview. But if you want to make a video from scratch, like it can be tricky, right? Like in the past, we've used iMovie, other things, WeVideo. But now Google has a brand new tool where you can make videos, and it's called Vids. Same idea. You're still logged into your DOE account. You open up a new tab and you go to vids.google.com. All right, so I'm going to try that. Vids.google.com. This is what the interface looks like. We're all familiar with this. If I create a new vid, you have different options. I'm just going to start with a template. I always start with that about our school thing because it's a good example. I'm going to start with this. So you can choose to use all of these different example scenes at the bottom or just a few. I'm just going to insert all scenes. But if you look at the layout of Google Vids, it looks very similar to Google Slides, right? So you have all your images and text here. But again, this is video. So if I hit play, it has all the animations in there, the footage, the stock footage is here, right? If I hit play here. Okay. And again, just like Google Slides, you can edit this stuff. So instead of welcome to our school, you know, welcome to, you know, put your name in there, PS, you know, 333. and then you can just continue, right? And then with the stock footage that's in there already, so this looks like a college campus to me. Maybe I'm working at a middle school, and so I need to update this image. So you just click on the video. It says replace video at the top. You got some different options. Maybe I want stock footage on here, and I'm just going to search middle school. And these are all royalty-free images of school. Let's say I just choose this one, and it's just going to replace it automatically. And now if I hit play, right? So again, Google Vids, a really easy way to create video. Schools are using this to create a welcome video for their school. Maybe you want to create something, students want to create projects about this. I need to double check if students have access to this. I know for sure staff does. I think students do. I need to double check. I need to talk to some folks at DIIT. Excuse me. But yeah, this was released like a few months ago. Again, this is all brand new. All staff members have access to this. So another resource that you can use in your repertoire. In terms of AI, there are like AI features in here, but you need to purchase an AI license. And so what I mean by that is, right now, Charles, I'm glad you see value in this. So right now you can use Gemini and NotebookLM for free, but there are certain limitations on there. I think you can create, I think it's like 5 audio overviews per day, right? So if you're a NotebookLM power user and you've made different notebooks, I think you can only create, it's like 3 or 5 audio overviews per day. And then the next day that resets and you can create more. On Famis, you can buy a Google Gemini. It's like an extended AI license. It's something like $130 for the year for one person. And then that expands all of your different AI capabilities, more audio overviews. There's more AI features in Vids and in other places like Docs and Sheets. So if you want to experiment with like even more Gemini features on Famis, and like this was released yesterday, on Famis, you can buy like 1 or like 5 or whatever licenses at like $130 each, where you have even more AI features. Okay. We went through a lot of things here. We went through a lot, drinking from a fire hose as usual. If you need this CTLE information, let me know. But before you leave, please answer this feedback form. You can scan it via your phone, or I'll put the link in the chat right now. I'll do that right now. But please take like 2 minutes, if not less, and submit your feedback to this. Okay, so there's the feedback form. Please answer that. I'm going to switch back to the CTLE information. Okay, so there it is. I'm well aware that asking people to stay with me for 3 hours on a virtual PD over the summer is a big ask, and I'm very thankful that you all stayed for this the duration of this session and learned with me and shared what you were working on. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate all your support. There's going to be way more PDs on AI. I'm going to put my email in the chat. Like, we work directly with schools. If you would like some PD for your teachers, for your admin staff, we do that also. .org. That's my email address, projectrecess.org. Yeah, so feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Again, please take a minute and answer that feedback form. These are the CTLE instructions. And thank you. Have a great rest of the day. Stay cool. I appreciate you joining us, and we'll let you know. I'll send out the recording of this and all the resources, and trust me, there will be many more PD sessions in the future. Thank you, everybody. Well, thank you so much for the emojis. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you. The same for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Vanita. Thanks, everybody. No, stop the
Full
recording.
disclosure, I did run out and go to busing, so I missed. I was like, okay, I have to go back over the beginnings of Notebook, and I have to go back over the beginnings of. I left and you were doing gems, and I came back as you were doing Notebook. Amazing, and this is how I'm doing Chancellor's Regs, and you just redid my whole IPC form and my opening day deck.
Thank you. I'm so glad you're excited about this. Yeah, no, these are such powerful tools. So yeah, check out Gems and NotebookLM, and yeah, there'll be many more sessions.
And I put out a thing. I was like, just did this survey. I was like, I'd love for you to come zoom into one of our cabinets, and you could blow everyone's mind because you're amazing.
Okay, no, that'd be great. Heather, thank you so much. Yeah,
When did it just appear on FAMUS about getting the Google the extended licenses, or is it something easily findable?
If it's easily findable on FAMUS, I don't know, but somebody from DIIT just emailed me about that yesterday. Hold on, I think Nick. Let me just pull this up. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm putting this in the chat.
Okay.
Actually, hold on one second. Yes, I'm putting this in the chat. Hold on one second. This is the information in FAMUS about it. So 131.98. And
Okay.
yeah, I just want to pull this up. Hold on one second.
Oh, that's the item number. Okay, that's what I need.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect.
And then, yeah, so search for that. It should show up.
Perfect.
So thank you.
Myself a note. Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This was great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye now.
Bye.
Okay. So thanks everybody. I'm going to stop the recording now.